Before we begin, do nothing. Do not agree. Do not resist. Do not search for meaning yet. Just listen. Zen is not here to impress you. It is here to strip you quietly. Most people move through life trying to be noticed, trying to be heard, trying to be validated. Zen asks a different question. What if your presence spoke before your mouth ever opened? In this world, people are dismissed quickly, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack value, but because their energy is scattered. Zen does not fix this by adding more. It fixes this by removing noise. Let us begin there. People dismiss what is loud. They dismiss what reacts too fast. They dismiss what talks too much. This is not because people are bad. This is how the human mind works. When something is loud, the mind feels pressure. When something reacts quickly, the mind feels chaos. When someone explains too much, the mind feels insecurity, so the mind pulls away. This is called perception. In Zen, perception matters more than intention. You may have good intentions. You may be kind. You may be smart. You may even be right. But people do not respond to what you mean. They respond to what they feel around you. And if they feel rush, tension, or need, they quietly stop taking you seriously. This happens everywhere. At work, in family, in friendships, in conversations. And most people never realize it is happening. Here is the hard truth. When you rush to speak, people feel you are unsure. When you rush to explain, people feel you need approval. When you rush to defend yourself, people feel you are afraid. Even if none of this is true, the mind does not analyze. The mind senses. Zen understands this deeply. That is why Zen monks train silence before speech, stillness before movement, calm before action. Not because silence is holy, but because speed belongs to fear. Zen teaches a simple image. The tree that bends too easily is not trusted in the storm. Think about this. A tree that bends at every small wind looks weak. People do not trust it to survive a storm. But a tree that stands steady, even quietly, feels strong. People trust it. In the same way, when you bend too quickly to every comment, every opinion, every challenge, people stop trusting your strength. They may not say it. They may not even know it, but they feel it. When you rush to correct someone, you show you are uncomfortable being wrong. When you rush to defend yourself, you show you are afraid of misunderstanding. When you rush to explain yourself, you show that being accepted matters too much to you. This fear leaks out without words, and fear dissolves authority. Zen monks are trained to sit inside misunderstanding. Someone may disagree with them. Someone may question them. Someone may misread them. And the monk does not rush. He breathes. He stays still. He lets silence exist. Not because he enjoys discomfort, but because truth does not hurry. Truth does not need to chase agreement. Here is something important. Silence makes people uncomfortable. And when people are uncomfortable, they pay attention. When you stop filling silence, others start thinking. When you pause, others lean forward inside their mind. When you do not react, others question themselves. This is quiet power. You are not forcing respect. You are allowing it to form. Most people lose presence because they react automatically. Someone speaks, they respond. Someone challenges, they defend. Someone misunderstands, they explain. Zen breaks this pattern. Zen says, pause first. Not to manipulate, not to dominate, but to stay grounded. When you slow your response, people adjust their energy. When you stay calm, people soften their tone. When you do not react, people rethink their position. This is not magic. It is human psychology. This is the first and most important shift. From reaction to presence. Reaction is automatic. Presence is chosen. Reaction leaks power. Presence gathers it. And once you make this shift, People begin to feel something they cannot explain. They stop dismissing you, not because you demanded respect, but because you stopped giving your power away too quickly. Zen teaches something that sounds small, but changes everything. Pause before you respond. Most people do not pause. They react. Someone speaks. They answer. Someone questions. They defend. Someone disagrees. They explain. This happens so fast that people do not even notice it. But Zen notices. Zen watches the space between moments. And in that space, power lives. When you respond immediately, your mind is still moving. Your emotions are still active. Your body is still tense. Even if your words are calm, your energy is not. People feel this. They may not know why, but something feels rushed, unsure, unstable. This is why fast reactions often get ignored. Not because they are wrong, but because they feel unsettled. Zen monks train themselves to pause for a reason, not to be mysterious, not to look wise, but because clarity arrives after stillness. When you pause, your breath slows. When your breath slows, your body relaxes. When your body relaxes, your mind clears. Only then does your response carry weight. Think about this. When someone answers too fast, you forget what they said. When someone pauses, you remember their words. Why? Because your mind had time to prepare. The pause tells the listener, this matters. Most people fear silence. Silence feels awkward. Silence feels exposed. Silence feels like losing control. So they fill it. They talk more. They explain again. They add details. And in doing so, they lose power. Zen teaches the opposite. Let silence exist. Silence does not weaken you. Silence reveals your confidence. Imagine two people. One answers immediately to everything. The other listens, pauses, then speaks. Which one feels stronger? Not louder, not smarter, stronger. The pause makes the second person feel grounded, like they are standing on solid ground. Zen monks practice sitting in silence for hours, not to escape the world, but to understand themselves. They learn to stay calm when nothing is happening. They learn to stay present when the mind wants to move. This training shows in conversation. When someone challenges them, they do not flinch. When someone misunderstands them, they do not rush. When someone pressures them, they do not break their rhythm. People feel this stability, and stability commands attention. Here is something important to understand. A pause is not weakness. A pause is a choice. Weakness is reacting without control. Strength is responding with awareness. Zen power is quiet because it is controlled. When you pause, something else happens. The other person begins to speak more. They reveal more of their thoughts. They show their emotions, because silence invites truth. When you stay quiet, others fill the space. And in that space, you learn more than words ever teach. This is why Zen masters often say very little. They listen deeply. They wait. Then they speak once. And that one sentence carries more weight than a long explanation. Here is how to practice the pause in daily life. When someone speaks to you, do not answer immediately. Take one slow breath. That is enough. One breath changes your state. Your voice becomes steadier. Your words become simpler. Your presence becomes stronger. When someone challenges you, do not defend yourself right away. Let the silence sit. You do not need to win. You do not need to prove. The pause shows confidence. When someone misunderstands you, do not rush to explain. Let them sit with their own interpretation. Many misunderstandings correct themselves when you do not chase them. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will say something, fix this, explain now. Zen teaches you to ignore this voice. That voice is fear, and fear has no patience. Over time, something changes. People begin to slow down around you. Conversations feel calmer. Your words are not interrupted. People start listening fully, not because you demanded attention, but because your pause created it. This is the deep truth. The pause is where presence is born. Without pause, there is only reaction. With pause, there is authority. Reaction scatters energy. Pause gathers it. So remember this: you do not need to speak faster. You do not need to explain more. You do not need to fill silence. You only need to pause. That pause is not empty. It is full of control, full of clarity, full of quiet power. And when you master this, you stop being easy to dismiss, because people cannot rush past what stands still. Zen teaches something that sounds small, but controls most of human life: the need to be approved. Most people do not notice this need. They feel it, but they do not see it. They want others to agree. They want others to like them. They want others to say, "Yes, you're right." This need shapes how they speak, how they move, how they act. And because of this, they are easy to dismiss. Here is a quiet truth. When you need approval, people feel it. Even if you hide it, even if you smile, even if you act confident, the body leaks truth. Your voice becomes softer. Your words become longer. Your explanations become careful. You start adjusting yourself to the room. Zen sees this clearly, and Zen says, freedom begins when you stop needing permission to exist. Think about this. When someone speaks without needing agreement, their words feel solid. When someone speaks hoping to be accepted, their words feel light. People may not say this out loud, but they respond differently. They interrupt more. They challenge more. They take the person less seriously, not out of cruelty, out of instinct. Zen monks train to release this need, not by becoming cold, not by becoming rude, but by becoming self-contained. They do not look outside themselves for stability. Their calm comes from inside. Here is a simple way to understand it. Imagine holding a cup of water. If you keep asking others to hold the cup for you, you never learn balance. Zen teaches you to hold your own cup. When you hold your own cup, you stop shaking. Many people speak with hidden questions in their voice. Do you agree? Is this okay? Am I making sense? Zen removes these questions, not because the Zen monk is always right, but because he is not afraid of being wrong. This changes everything. When you are not afraid of being disliked, your words become honest. When you are not afraid of being rejected, your body relaxes. When you are not afraid of being misunderstood, your presence becomes steady. People trust steadiness. Zen masters often speak very little, not because they have nothing to say, but because they do not need to fill space to feel important. A Zen master once sat quietly during a long discussion. At the end, someone asked, "Why did you say nothing?" He replied, "Everything that needed to be understood was already here." This is non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop begging. You still listen. You still respect others. You still act with kindness. But you do not trade your center for approval. Here is something very important. People test those who seek approval. They do not test those who are self-contained. When you chase acceptance, people push boundaries. When you are calm without needing validation, people step carefully. They feel your balance. At first, letting go of approval feels scary. The mind says, "What if they don't like me? What if they disagree? What if I lose something?" Zen answers gently, "Then let it go." Anything that leaves when you stop begging was never stable. As you practice this, something changes. You speak slower. You choose words more carefully. You stop explaining yourself, and people notice. They begin to listen differently. This is the deep truth. Approval seeking shrinks presence. Self-containment expands it. You do not need to be admired. You do not need to be liked. You need to be grounded. Zen power is quiet because it is not asking for anything. When you stop reaching outward, your energy settles inward. And when your energy settles, people feel it. They may not understand why, but they stop dismissing you. So remember, do not speak to be liked. Do not act to be accepted. Do not explain to be approved. Stand calmly in your own center. That is Zen. That is non-attachment. And that is how you become difficult to dismiss without ever trying. Zen teaches something that most people ignore. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Long before you say a word, people feel your posture. They sense your movement. They read your stillness. And they decide quietly how seriously to take you. Most people think authority comes from words. Zen knows better. Authority comes from how you hold yourself. Look at how many people move. They rush. They fidget. They shift their weight again and again. Their shoulders are tight. Their head leans forward. Their body looks like it is chasing something. Even before they speak, their presence feels unstable. Zen notices this immediately. Zen monks train posture not to look strict, but to feel grounded. They sit upright. Their spine is straight but relaxed. Their shoulders are soft. Their breathing is slow. Nothing is forced. This posture sends a message without words. I am settled, and people trust what feels settled. When your body is restless, your mind is restless. When your body collapses, your confidence collapses with it. Zen understands that the body and mind are not separate. Change one, and the other follows. Think about this. When someone slouches, you feel less confidence in them. When someone stands calmly, you feel more trust. This happens instantly. No thinking, no logic, just perception. Zen trains stillness, not frozen stillness, alive stillness, the kind where nothing unnecessary moves. Stillness tells the world, I am not in a hurry. I am not nervous. I am not trying to impress. And that message is powerful. Most people move too much because they feel unsure. They adjust their clothes. They touch their face. They shift their feet. These movements leak uncertainty. Zen teaches awareness of movement. Move only when needed. Move slowly. Move completely. Every movement becomes intentional. This is why Zen walking looks different. Each step is calm. Each step is full. Nothing is rushed. Even when going somewhere, there is no feeling of chasing. Authority is not stiffness. Stiffness is fear. Authority is relaxed control. A Zen monk can sit for hours without tension. This relaxed stillness feels strong. Here is a simple practice. When you sit, place both feet on the ground. Straighten your back gently. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands rest. Do not force anything. Just settle. You will feel your breath slow. Your thoughts soften. Your presence deepen. When you stand, stand evenly. Do not lean. Do not rush. Feel the ground under your feet. This grounding changes how others see you. When you walk, slow slightly, not dramatically, just enough to feel each step. People notice calm movement. Zen teaches that stillness is not absence. It is containment. Your energy stays inside you, instead of spilling outward. And when energy is contained, it feels strong. This is why calm people are rarely dismissed. They do not leak nervousness. They do not broadcast insecurity. They feel solid. Another deep Zen truth. People mirror your speed. If you rush, they rush past you. If you slow, they slow down. Your body sets the rhythm of interaction. When you move calmly, others speak more carefully. When you sit still, others stop interrupting. When you hold posture, others hold attention. Not because you demanded it, because your presence guided it. This takes practice. At first, stillness feels strange. Your body wants to move. Your mind wants to escape. Zen says, stay. Stay in the body. Stay in the moment. Stillness becomes comfortable over time. Eventually, something changes. You no longer need to act confident. Your body already feels stable. You no longer think about posture. It becomes natural. And people respond differently. They listen more. They interrupt less. They stop dismissing you. This is the deep lesson of Zen posture. When your body is settled, your authority is felt, not spoken. You do not need to announce yourself. You simply arrive. So remember, sit upright, not tense. Move slowly, not stiff. Be still, not frozen. Let your body speak calm. That calm becomes authority, and authority makes you difficult to dismiss without a single word. Zen says, one word can outweigh 1,000 if placed correctly. Most people dilute their message by over-speaking. They explain too much. They justify too often. Zen teaches precision. Speak when it matters. Stop when the point is clear. Leave silence after your words. Silence allows meaning to land. A person who speaks constantly becomes background noise. A person who speaks selectively becomes memorable. This is not strategy. This is discipline. One of the deepest Zen teachings is emptiness. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. It means uncluttered awareness. When you are empty, you are not defensive. When you are empty, you are flexible. When you are empty, you cannot be shaken easily. People dismiss rigidity. They cannot dismiss calm adaptability. You stop reacting from ego. You start responding from clarity. Zen emptiness makes you difficult to predict and impossible to manipulate. Zen warns against force. Force creates resistance. Presence creates gravity. When you try to dominate a room, people resist you. When you anchor yourself, people adjust around you. You do not need to control others. You need to control yourself. Zen power is subtle, but it reshapes environments. So remember, speak less, pause longer, move slower, need nothing. Let silence work for you. Let presence speak for you. When you stop asking to be respected, respect begins to form naturally. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. This is Zen. Get grounded, unavoidable.